All right, we are back. I like that 80s tech music you got working there.
It's a retro vibe I got on.
It's a retro vibe. Well, that is very fitting for this next segment because we are living in a time where our parents are aging. Of course, so are we. Some of us grow up more than others.
Yes, but parents are living longer.
Parents are living longer and they're living better lives. They're not just living longer, but I guess quality of life is going. But our next guest is here to talk about how to parenting your parent. Dean Krasovitsky.
Pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close.
I'll take it.
But we've had weeks of people from India and other countries in here, so that's about that's pretty good.
I've been called a lot worse, so that's fine.
Let's talk about the generation that we're living in right now. The demand for parents, for kids to take care of their parents. I mean, it's something that everyone at one point is going to be faced with.
I think the challenge that a lot of us are facing now with our parents is making sure that they're being looked after. One of the things we were just talking about is how busy our lives are. And what happens is we are hoping that wherever our parents are, if it's independent living or assisted living, that they're being, taken care of and looked after and their needs are being met. And unfortunately, as a lot of our parents have a higher level of need, whether it's, being helped from their bedroom to their bathroom, or as they get older, they're going to need more and more help, they're not getting those needs met. And so a lot of kids become, I was telling you about this, helicopter kids, where they're showing up at wherever their parents are living to make sure, mom and dad are okay. Is mom been sitting in a room for 6 hours? Yeah,
that's sad. And that's just, I think parents, kids that do that is kind of, they need to have, I need to watch what I say here, but I would love for my parents to move in my house, to be honest with you. I got plenty of room. I'd say, come on, I want to take care of you, because I think that maybe kids that just kind of take this approach that, they're being taken care of. They live 400 miles away. That's fine. I don't think that's necessarily their approach for it, but as long as they're in a facility that does more than just put them in a room and feed them 3 times a day,
right?
The facility is probably key as well.
Right, it is. I think as parents age and have more needs, you need to have a place that can be responsive, that can look at what your mom or dad needs and be aware of it. The issue that a lot of people have when they come to us is that, the staff to resident ratio is not great. So they're having a hard time responding to certain things. They have a tremendous amount of staff turnover. So you are getting, people coming and you're asking, how did mom do today? And they don't know who mom is.
They don't know who mom is.
Because they have 10, 12 people that they're looking after that day, or it's their third day, or they're new to that shift. And then, when your parent keeps seeing different faces, it's very difficult for them to feel like that person knows who I am.
Yeah, and they feel wanted and important. Of course, Dean is with Manchester Place Care Homes, and you've been there for several years. Just in the last 5-6 years, what have you seen? An increase? And as these baby boomers are aging, and
I do. What we've become is a alternative for folks that have a higher level of care, that they're no longer appropriate for traditional assisted living. So what we have focused on is a higher staff to resident ratio. So
what conditions would that include?
Oh, anything from people who have ostomy bags to people that are incontinent, some dementia issues. It's a very wide range of maladies that these people have that can be looked after appropriately and done well if you have the right amount of staffing.
What's some of the concerns or questions that the kids are asking? What should be some good questions to ask a facility before you...
I think the staffing ratio is very important. making sure that the staff is going to be there and able to handle the needs of your folks. I think that's probably the biggest question that you ask. And what we see with a lot of kids is that, they really don't know what's going on with mom or dad because kind of, as you said earlier, everything's great in your assisted living and all of a sudden it isn't. And now you're in panic mode trying to fix things. And one of the questions, we would ask a potential prospective resident's family is, tell us what's going on. And a lot of times we hear, well, I'm not really sure. So, and that's a problem.
That's a problem. Is there any reviews or any websites that rate some of these assisted living facilities that you could go on and I don't know if that exists?
Well, the Department of Aging and Disability Services, DADS, reviews and does audits of all of us if you're licensed. But the problem is that it's not always, they don't always find the things that are important. Like, for instance, the rule that DADS has for staffing is you have to have enough staff to handle the needs of your residents. So it's a very subjective rule. So you're not going to see something on DADS that says, hey, they didn't have enough people taking care of these seniors. What you might see is like, well, their fire extinguishers weren't inspected appropriately in a time. And so there really isn't a good resource for people.
There's, we recently put my grandmother into a nursing facility, and we read lots of reviews on places like Yelp and some other web review websites. But yeah, you're right. It didn't really give me a good confidence that I was getting, anything accurate, and it's mostly biased kind of information.
Yeah, that would. It's we talked about that earlier. I mean, there's sometimes, or someone could put up a negative review on something,
right?
And it wasn't. In fact, it's not a negative review at all. It was just maybe a competitor or
a former employee.
Former employee. Cost. I mean, that's one thing varies. I have no clue about.
Right. It varies. It depends on, we charge a flat rate. We're $6,200 a month. That does include all your medication management. That includes your ratios, 4-to-1 during the day and night, meals, showers. We don't have levels that many of our competitors do. So they'll bring you in on a lower rate. And for every pill you take, it's an added charge. And if they need help getting from their bedroom to the dining room. I think the thing that just separates us from our competition is, number one, the ratio. Number two, the size. We're small. We typically have no more than 8 residents in any of our locations. So we're able to really create a residential look and feel for them.
Wow, that's amazing. I had no idea it was that tight.
Yeah, it's just another way of offering a traditional service that's become more like warehousing, and what we try and do is give it a real feel like a home, and we invite families to come and stay and
it's a big deal because I think of these, Michael, as being almost very sterile hospital-like environments that and you walk in, it's just not very warm.
Some of them are like that,
the color, because I think the colors. I know this seems, maybe I'm going off in left field, which wouldn't be the first time. But the color choices that you choose for the interior decorating is important, because I think grays and sometimes even whites, just kind of depressing, but bright colors. I mean, am I right?
I think part of it's that. Part of it's the architecture, making it feel like a house instead of like a hotel where you don't have a 120-foot hallway,
That's, yeah.
So that's part of it. We baking cookies and having that smell.
Oh, you got them right there. Can I check myself in?
No, that's a good thing right there.
Good thing.
That's my favorite.
To smell the cookies.
I love cookies.
I love cookies.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like cookies? You smell the cookies, So yeah, I could see that. And then, of course, engaging in senior games, cards. I mean, involved with other groups.
Well, we try and do a lot of stuff with music. Music is really one of the part of your brain that's affected by dementia, from what I understand. Is the part that holds on to music is one of the last parts of your brain that's affected by dementia. So you're able to go back to the music that you like, and it kind of can
it brings it back.
Yeah.
Michael, remember we had
reinvigorate you. Yeah, I resonate with that because my wife's grandmother, who passed away last year, up until the last couple of years of her life, up until then, she was going out dancing with like a different boyfriend of hers every weekend because she's like, I love this music. We need to go dancing. Even though she couldn't move that great, she loved it.
Remember Brent from Roots Juices that was on?
Yes.
Okay. He had an iPod drive where he wanted people to donate old iPods. Okay. And then in return, he'd give them a juice voucher for juices. They turn those iPods in. They download music from the air.
That's what we do.
That's it.
Yeah.
That was a great program because it brings back memories, and I think it enhances the quality of their life. But that's awesome.
Yeah, we have a resident that knows every Frank Sinatra song by heart, and we didn't know that she knew every Frank Sinatra song by heart till we downloaded his whole library and gave her that iPod. And she knows every song.
Are you still collecting iPods? Because if you are, I want to.
Well, I haven't got donations. I'm buying iPods. But if you have some small ones, sure.
I think if you're listening, I think that's something you should do, and we'll get you all the information out here quickly. So how can someone get a hold of you if they have questions or?
Our number is 972-423-3600, or our website is manchesterplacecarehomes.com.
I don't know about you, Michael, but that's a good feeling.
Yes.
I love the intimate setting and the personal hands-on, and that you guys bake cookies. I'll see you next week. Check myself in.
That sounds like a great time.
I want to leave my 3 kids at home, though. I don't want to bring them with me. That's,
You'll fit right in with your hair there.
Yeah. I am losing my hair, by the way. Hey, let's take a quick break because we come back. Let's go flying. Yep.
On the radio.
Yep.
All right.
We're going to do it.
We'll try.
All right. We'll see you in a few.